Marcus. Don't. Okay, you ready for these? All right, number one, we have to solve for x. How do we get rid of it? Anybody know how we get rid of the power of 2? Square root it, right? So we're going to square root both sides. When we take the square root of a number, what happens? Well, it cancels out the power 2. But we get two answers for square root. 144 is a perfect square. We get two answers. We get a positive 12, because positive 12 times positive 12 is 144. Or we get negative 12, because negative 12 times negative 12 is also positive 144. Yes, ma'am? Yes, you have to put a plus and minus there. All right, number 2 is the same thing. We're going to take the square root of both sides, cancels out that power 2. The square root of 169, 13, don't forget the plus and minus, equals Rn. Okay, number 3, we have to get the a squared by itself first. Okay, we have to get it by itself. It's being multiplied by 2, so we're going to actually divide by 2 first. Which means we have to divide the other side by 2. Okay, the 2's cancel. I get a squared equals 98 divided by 2. 49. Now I can take the square root of both sides. So a is going to equal square root of 49 plus or minus 7. Okay, number 4. We have to get b squared by itself first, right? We have to get rid of the coefficient 1/3. Does anybody know the easiest way to get rid of a fractional coefficient? Multiply by its reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 3/1. Okay? Because what happens is 3's cancel out, 1's cancel out to 1, everything cancels to 1, and I get b squared by itself. Now, 3/1 is the same as just 3, right? What's 12 times 3? 36. Now I can take the square root of both sides, and I get b equals square root of 36 is 6. Don't forget your plus and minus. Let's do number 7. Okay, I have to get p squared by itself. So I'm going to undo minus 196. I'm going to add 196 to both sides. These add up to 0. Get my p squared equals 196. Square root both sides, get rid of the power of 2. So I get P equals plus or minus square root of 196 is 15. Pardon me? All right. So let's stop here with the whole solving. Huh? Want to do 8? We can do 8. Actually, 8 is harder. It's a 2-step. 9. Well, we'll do both. Okay, let's. We got to get or Q squared by itself. So the first thing I'm going to do, add 80 to both sides. So I have 5Q squared equals 80. I've got to get the Q squared by itself, so I'm going to divide by the coefficient 5. So I get Q squared equals 16. Square root both sides. So Q, square root of 16 is 4. Don't forget the plus or minus. And number 9. See, I'm going to get the R squared by itself. So I'm going to add 0.81 to both sides. I get R squared equals 0.81 square root both sides. So I get R equals, let's put this in a calculator, huh? See, square root, you're going to hit the second key and the x squared key to bring up the square root. Put 0.81 in there, hit enter, and I get a 0.9. We're going to estimate what's called the x-intercepts or the zeros. There's all kinds of names for these. X-intercepts, the zeros, solutions, the roots. It all means the same thing. It's where it crosses, our parabola crosses the x-axis, or anything that crosses the x-axis. Okay, now, this is the x-axis, right? What's the value of y on my x-axis? 0. Okay? So you're always going to have any ordered pair here is going to be 4, 0, 6, 0, 8, 0, 10, 0. The equation of the x-axis is y equals 0. Okay, so it says estimate the solutions. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to solve these like we did up here. Okay, so let's get x by itself. We're going to add 4.5 to each side, right? And I get x squared equals 4.5. And how did we get x by itself? Get rid of the power of 2. We're going to take the square root of both sides. So x, and we're going to put this in our calculator. We're going to have a plus or minus. Let's take the square root of 4.5 and enter, and I get approximately 2.12. Okay? So, in other words, x is going to equal to positive 2.12 or negative 2.12. Now, if you were to look at the graph and didn't do the algebra here, and you would just look at this and trying to find the x-intercept zero solution of roots, I mean, if you put x equal negative 2 or x equal positive 2, you're pretty close because it says estimate. You would be good to go. So, in number 11, we're going to estimate. We're not going to do the algebra. Okay? I'm going to make your lives easier for this. What am I, in number 11, estimate my x-intercepts or solutions or roots? Well, it looks like negative 4, between negative 4 and negative 5. I'm going to say negative 4.5 and positive 4.5. Number 12, see, it looks like negative 3 and positive 3. All we're doing is estimating. How about 13? Negative 4 and positive 1. And 14? Negative 1, positive 3. Okay? Now, you want to move? All right, so it was the whole numbers. It wasn't that bad, right? The negative 3, positive 3 here, negative 1, 3. But when we got into the decimals, it was pretty hard to estimate the decimals, right? Well, guess what? Your calculators can do that for you. And you actually have a little process here of how to do this. And I will let you do this on the quiz Wednesday. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Easy whole numbers. Let's see if 15 is a whole number. Okay, as far as the solution, comma, x-intercepts, comma, zeros, comma, roots, I'll probably say zeros. I'll probably use zeros most often. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put, by the way, this is a parabola because it's x squared. All quadratics are parabolas. So I'm going to go to my y equals. I'm going to put in, now we did this, okay? I'm going to put in x squared minus 3x minus 10. And we graphed it, right? A graph. And here's my parabola. Okay, we want to know these x-intercepts here. And it looks like they're zeros. They look like whole numbers. So my first one's going to be at negative 2. Looks like to be negative 2. And see, positive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now that's the easy whole numbers. That's the easy whole numbers way. Now let's get a problem where there's decimals. Getting the decimal answers is a lot harder. Let's see if number 16 has a decimal answer. Negative 2x squared plus x plus 6. Graph it. And sure enough, it looks like I have a decimal here, or a fraction, right? Because my zero solutions, roots, whatever you want to call them, is in between two whole numbers here, -1 and -2. Okay, the way we do this, I'm going to just follow this chart. Okay, I'm going to hit the second button and then trace. These are buttons on your calculator. So I'm going to hit second, trace, hit number 2. I'm going to hit number 2, and it's asking me, where do you think the parabola crosses the x? Enter, then hit the left arrow key. See how it's asking me left bound? I have to be to the left of this point. So I'm going to use my cursor. It's not to the left of that point. I'm going to use my arrows, bring my cursor to the left of the 0, and then I'm going to hit, yeah, that's my left bound, so enter. Then it's asking me, well, are you to the right of this intercept point? So I'm going to use my arrow keys again, bring my cursor to the right of that point, and hit enter. Then it says, well, you want me to guess where that point, that intercept is? And of course I do, so I'm going to hit enter again. And it's telling me that point is at -1.5, 0. So my x-intercept is -1.5. Now my other point is easy, because that's a whole number. 2. Don't lose this chart. You're going to use it on the quiz Wednesday. Let me do another example. Let's do 21. Okay, I'm going to have to put this in my y equals button. However, I have to get a 0 on one side of the equation first. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides to undo this 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. I get 3x squared minus 7x minus 2. Now I can plug that into my calculator. 3x squared minus 7x minus 2. Hit graph. And it looks like I'm going to have to do my left bound, right bound on both of those zeros. So I'm going to hit my second key, graph. not second graph, second trace, 0. Get to the left of that point for the left bound, hit enter. Get to the right of that intercept, hit enter, then enter again. I get negative 0.26. We have to find this intercept, so I'm going to have to do this again. Second trace, 0. Move the cursor a little closer. I'm to the left of there, hit enter. Get to the right of there, enter, then enter again. And I get positive 2.6. Huh? You're not on your calculator, you're not getting it? Does your calculator work? Well, do it with me. Okay, the next one. Let's subtract 1 from both sides. So I get negative x squared plus 4x minus 1, 0. All right, let's do this together. Oh, go to your y equals. Make sure you hit the negative key and not the minus key. Okay, it's got to be that negative key. Negative x squared plus 4x minus 1. Good? Okay, graph. Got the same parabola? Okay. So now we're going to try to get those x-intercepts. So hit second trace. Did you get this menu? Okay, got to go to 0 because we're looking for the zeros. Hit enter. Did you get a left bound here? Okay, so we got to be to the left of that point. Anywhere to the left of that intercept, which we are. Okay, so hit enter. Now, is it asking you for the right bound? Okay, so we got to get to the right of that point. Bring it to the right. Hit enter. Then enter again. And it's telling me where that point is. 0.27. You see it? Here? Yeah. Do you see the 0.27 down here? Let me see your calculator. Okay, let's do it again. Second trace. We're going to go to the 0. Enter. Which is the other one? It should be somewhere to the left of the intercept. Okay, hit enter. Then go under the x-axis to the right of it. Hit enter. And then just hit enter again. Get 3.7. Get it? That one worked, right? Don't do 24. Do the evens. 1 through 8. Let's not worry about 9, 10. And how about the evens from 11 through 16? 18. Do 18. Okay?